Michelle, and this is my spring semester reading roundup. First, a bit of background. I'm about to complete my Associates in Applied Sciences with an emphasis in paralegal. This is my very last semester. Classes end in about 4 weeks, and I graduate in 5 weeks. So I'm really excited, but I'm also like, no, slow down, because I have so much work to do still. But anyway, I had been holding off to start my YouTube channel just because I kept telling myself that I didn't have time to read because I'm in school. Actually, I am reading all the time, just not my favorite fantasies. This is a roundup of what I've been reading. This video might be interesting to other paralegal students or potential students who are thinking about going into the field. The first book I was reading, I started it before classes start, is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I wanted to start annotating my books, so I started that in this book, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing that in more of my books. Especially with a book like this, there's a lot of vocabulary in here that is older. It's really helped me understand the story a lot more and understand what's going on with the characters more too. And pick out words that I otherwise would not have known, and probably if I was just trying to read through it real quick, I would have just skipped over them and never learned what they are. So I think I really enjoy annotating books. This book I have not actually finished. I'm taking 3 classes this semester. I'm taking Torts. This class we study civil wrongs or accidents that someone has done to someone else, either on purpose or by accident or by no fault of their own, that they could be held liable for it. We also discuss defenses that protect culpability from being attached and what damages. In torts, we use damages interchangeably to mean damages or harm. That damages can also mean monetary, nominal, or punitive damages, which is the punishment that's doled out to the person who's guilty. This is the textbook that we are assigned. On average, we cover about 3 chapters a week, and it can be a little overwhelming. Some of the chapters are really short, but some of them are pretty long. As you can see, this book has a big sticker of Amazon rentals. This is a great way to get a hold of really expensive textbooks. I used to be a person that wanted to own all my textbooks because I could write in them and potentially go back and read them. But let's be honest, you're likely not going to go back and reread your textbooks. Some classes I barely use the textbook at all. The instructor covered everything in the lecture. If the book is really cheap to buy anyways, I found a book last semester from my administrative law class that was only $35, brand new. So I just bought that one. This textbook, on the other hand, was about $250 to buy, even used. To rent it was only like $40, so of course. I also suggest just to take really good notes, and that way anything that you may want to look back on, you will have a condensed version in your notes. The next class I'm taking is Capstone. This class is supposed to be taken in the last semester because it's a roundup of all the stuff that you should have learned in the paralegal program. There's not really a textbook for this class. These books were on the reading list as more of a tool to help us do research and writing assignments. The Pocket Guide to Legal Research and the Pocket Guide to Legal Writing. The other book that we have to have is a blue book. Mine's an older edition, the 19th edition, and I believe we are on the 20th or 21st edition. It's actually really important to have an updated version because there are certain things that do change. I decided that I was not going to get an updated version because I have some friends in class, so I figured if there's 1 or 2 things that I need to make sure are the same in my book as their book, I would just ask them. So that's why I didn't get an updated version. This is another reference tool that paralegals have to have. We have to also know how to use it. This book is very confusing because legal citations are very, very, very precise. I actually really enjoy doing legal citations. If your period is in the wrong spot or there is not a space in between where it's supposed to be, it could be wrong and you will get docked points. Actually, here's a page of kind of what that looks like. These little light blue dots, those tell you exactly where the space must be. There are specific abbreviations that you have to know. Right now we are working legal citation assignment. These are made up of cases that are designed to make us cry. So here's a quick example of what we had to do. This is one problem we had to do, number 11. basically a jumbled up word problem, and we have to take that and turn it into this. This is how I in the blue is how I kind of lay out the problem as I'm reading it. These are the party members. This is the first court. This is what happened at that court. This is another court. And then this is the third and final court of appeals. We had to obviously write a parallel citation for that third and final court. Then I take all of this and I turn it into here in the dark. So this is my final answer when I go to turn in my assignment. There's about 15 of these cases. If you'd like more videos on this subject, I would love to do them. Our last big project is a memo assignment. It is going to be between 7 to 10 pages, double spaced, so it's not too bad. But we have to read 5 cases. So I have this huge packet because some of these cases are 30, 40, 60 pages long. And these cases are actually a really lot of fun to read. They are from the United States Supreme Court. Those are the only cases that we read because they set a precedence for the law that all the lower courts must follow. We are learning about the 1st, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, primarily the balancing act between the defendant's right to a fair trial and the public or press's rights to freedom of press and freedom of public trials. In these cases, these issues are overlapping, and the High Court has to find the best way to allow each party their constitutional rights. I absolutely love working on these constitutional issues because they are absolutely so important and so much more complex than I think people really understand, especially in instances like this where one man's right is infringing upon another man's rights and how we should handle this. There's often no solution. I strongly urge everyone to study their constitution because I believe that most people really don't know their rights or have this vague fuzzy idea of what it is. So moving on, the last class I am taking is Intro to Shakespeare. I actually took this class because I needed one more elective, but I had also been wanting to read Shakespeare for a while, and this is a way of making sure that I get to read for fun while still getting credit for it. I absolutely loved this class, but I did feel rushed reading through the plays. This class was a fast track class. It started about a month later than my other classes. On average, we have to read about a play a week. It's an online class, so we have discussion posts, journal entries each week to go with the play, and we also have 3 major projects. One was a research topic that we had to design a lecture, and the second one coming up is a movie paper. I personally am going to be comparing the movie Midsummer Night's Dream to the play. This is actually not a favorite of mine. It just happened to be fresh on my mind because that's the play that we were just working on. I happened to pick up the DVD at the library already. So here are the plays that we have read. First one was Macbeth. The second one I don't have in my possession because I rented it from the library. It is King Lear. We also read Hamlet. These 3 are tragedies. I was very surprised on how much I completely loved each one of them. The 4th one I again don't have in my possession. I rented it from the library. It is Henry V. This was a historical piece, and this one was really boring. I really didn't read it all the way through. I only read the acts in which the speeches of interest for the assignment were. Again, we are working on a Midsummer Night's Dream. This is a comedy, which it was really funny. The crazy string of events that happens to the characters in this love rectangle that they get themselves into was pretty funny. This one, I can appreciate it more now since our class discussion. The focus of this play was supposed to be on how we handle love and our life. All I knew about this play going into it is that it had fairies, and I thought, I like that sort of thing, so I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more. But I thought it was mostly weird. The next play we will cover next week is Measure for Measure. I think this is also a comedy. And then finally we will do Sonnets. I do have a little compilation of sonnets, so hopefully I have the correct ones. If not, we have a free resource online to where we can get a hold of the plays. I just have a really hard time reading online, and that's why I was determined to go get the books. So you can look forward to future videos focused more on Shakespeare because I really enjoyed this class. I've also listened to a couple of books on audiobook. I listened to A City of Glass and A City of Ashes. That goes with the Mortal Instruments series. And yes, I read them in that order. So I know, I am in the market for the books so that I can reread them all in order. Finally, I want to do a brief roundup of some other books that I figured goes with this theme, and they're on my TBR. The first one is a John Grisham book. John Grisham, I believe he used to be an attorney, and now he writes a ton of books. So this one is about an attorney who moves from a big city to a small coal mining town in Appalachia. The people in the town are doing a lot of illegal and shady things, so they really reject having this big-time attorney in their little town. Samantha starts to find herself in a really bad situation. The next one is John Grisham again. This is The King of Torts. I picked this one up in hopes to read it before I started Torts, but that did not happen. So at least now I can read it afterwards and I will know what is going on because of the things that I learned in class. So I'm really excited to read this one. The last book is an autobiography of an execution. This is written by David R. Dow. He is also an attorney that worked on death row for many, many years and saw many of his clients put to death. This book is going to discuss what happens on death row. This one's a pretty controversial subject, and I'm really excited to read it. So that wraps up this spring reading roundup. Thank you for watching. Bye!